believe that there is such a thing called failure?
You know what? At one point in my life, I did. When I was standing there in front of a judge, my hands were handcuffed. They were attached to my waist. My feet were shackled together. That judge looked at me and he said, "The state of California finds you guilty of armed robbery and assault with a deadly weapon, and we sentence you to 15 years in prison." I was a failure at that moment. I was a failure. I thought I was. I'll put it that way. I thought I was. But obviously, I'm having this conversation with you, and there aren't any bars around me. I am not in a yellow jumpsuit. I have a nice shirt on. So obviously, that thought process had to change. Of course, we stumble. But if we see ourselves as a failure, then we run the risk of trapping ourselves in that situation. I wasn't able to step out of that mindset until I saw the opportunity to grow. I made a mistake in my life. Okay, now how do we move forward? See, if I had stayed there and focused on the mistake, poor me, I would have stayed right there in that phase of believing I was a failure. But once that changed, and I began to believe, you know what, I can get out of prison, I can do great things, or when you start to believe you can defeat your own Sonny Banks and you start to move in the right direction, you start to get up off the canvas. It doesn't matter how slow you do it. The only thing that matters is that you start the process. That's when you step out of that failure phase and you begin to learn and you begin to grow. And the mistakes that you've made, you should never make those mistakes again. So no, to answer your question, no, I don't believe I don't believe that anyone can look at themselves and say that I'm a failure. No, there are too many examples that we can find online of people that hit a stumbling block. They weren't successful on their first, their fifth, their 10th or 15th time, but they refused to quit until they succeed, until they made it, until they succeeded. So no, I don't believe that. Absolutely not.